Good morning, 7th and 8th graders. It's Wednesday. Here are your practice problems from Monday. And this one right here, I normally try to write them to where they'll come out evenly. It's fine if they don't. So you just write it either as a fraction or as a decimal is fine. Okay, I just usually try to write them to where they come out evenly for you. Okay, remember we were combining like terms on Monday. Before you can solve an equation, if there are like terms, you have to take care of that first. And then there's also one other thing that you have to take care of before you can solve an equation, and that's the distributive property. And I know y'all have learned about the distributive property before. Okay, and it's just something that we're going to take care of. If you see it in an equation, you need to take care of it first. Okay, so I'm going to look at this first one. The 3 sitting outside the parentheses means multiplication, because when there's no sign and they're sitting side by side, that means multiplication. Except this time, it's not just 3 multiplied times x. It's 3 multiplied times everything that's inside the parentheses. If you think about what the word distribute means, it means like if I was passing out a paper, if I was going to distribute a paper, I would need to go take that same paper and give it to everyone that's in the room. So if you're distributing this 3, you're going to multiply it times everything that's in the parentheses. Okay, so what I usually ask kids to do is just draw a little line to help you remember what you've multiplied. So 3 times x is just 3x. And then 3 times positive 5. Pay attention to the signs because they're not always positive. But 3 times positive 5 is positive 15. So that tells me how I'm going to write this. I'm going to write it 3x plus 15. And then I'm just going to rewrite the rest, equals 45. Okay. So then it turns into an equation that you guys are really good at. And I'm going to subtract 15. Okay, and I have 3x equals 30. And then finish it by dividing by 3. And I've got x equals 10. Okay, so just adding one different step there at the beginning. If you see distributive property that needs to be taken care of, you need to go ahead and take care of that first. Okay, so on this one, now we have a 10 that's going to distribute to everything inside the parentheses. So 10 times 2x is 20x. So 20x. And then 10 times positive 4 is positive 40. So 20x plus 40 equals 60. That 60 is over there on its own. One of the reasons why I like you to draw that line is that you need to see what's going on together on one side. That 60 is not affected by anything. He's over there by himself. Okay, so now we're ready to solve like normal. We're going to subtract 40, get 20x equals 20. So final step would be to divide by 20 and end up with x equals 1. I'll move and let you get that copied down. Okay, we'll pause and then we'll do a couple more together. Okay, go ahead and copy down these last 2 examples. We'll work them together. So if you look at this one, we see that we need to take care of distributive property, and the number out here is a -8. Remember the sign directly in front of it is what belongs with that. So that means that we're multiplying a -8 times everything that's in the parentheses. So we start and we have -8 times 3x. So I know that's -24x. Then we also have -8 times -4. It takes the sign that's in front of it. And I know that a negative times negative is positive. So the answer to that is actually going to be positive 32. So the way I'm going to write it is plus 32. I'm going to draw my line down there. And then I just rewrite what's over here, which is -16. Okay, now I'm ready to solve just like normal. I'm going to subtract this 32 from both sides and rewrite it. So I've got -24x equals -48. -16 minus 32 is -48. Then I'm going to have to divide by negative 24 because that's what's been multiplied over here. Divide by negative 24. So I know 48 divided by 24 is 2, and negative divided by a negative is positive. So I've got x equals 2. Okay, let's do one more. We're going to pay attention to the signs here. So I've got a 7 that needs to be distributed. This right here is a negative 6. So it's 7 times negative 6, which is negative 42. So I've got negative 42x. And then the 7 times positive 3. 7 times positive 3 is positive 21, so I'm going to write it as plus 21. And then rewrite the rest equals negative 21. And then I solve it like normal. I'm going to start by taking off this positive 21 with minus 21. So I end up with negative 42x equals negative 42. So I know when I divide the exact same thing by itself, negative 42 divided by negative 42, I just get 1. Okay. So your practice problems are going to be just like these. You'll have to take care of the distributive property first. Let me get some for you. Take care of the distributive property first. And then just solve like normal. Okay, I'm sure you'll do great. Okay, if you'd like credit for these, turn them in, submit them to me by Thursday night, and I will see you back on Friday morning.